Competition comes in two different types: competition among the few and competition among the many. In a market with only a few producers making a specific thing, each producer has some control over the price. The distinction between a few producers and many producers tells us about the basic market structure. But we can be even more specific about the types of competition. One extreme type of market structure is called a monopoly. When only a single producer sells a good or service, there is no competition at all. That is a monopoly. In a monopoly, the consumer is stuck with whatever decisions the producer makes, because there is no rival product to choose. Oligopoly is another market structure characterized by few sellers. There are more producers than in a monopoly, but the range of businesses is very limited, and consumers have to choose from a short list of providers. Oligopoly offers some competition, but producers do not have to worry very much about competition. At the other end of the spectrum of market structures is pure competition. In a purely competitive market, there are numerous businesses, and there is a wide variety of products sold. In a purely competitive market, consumers have a wide range of choices, and producers have to find ways to beat out their rivals. All this competition results in a lot of innovation, incentives to be efficient, and lower prices. Type of competition. Characteristic. Market influence. Competition among a few producers. A market with a small number of producers. Each producer has some degree of market control. Competition among many producers. A market with a large number of producers. Producers have very little or no control over market price or quantity sold. Pure competition. The market structure that works best for consumers is pure competition. Pure competition is an ideal market structure that does not actually exist anywhere in the real world. We can, however, use pure competition as a standard for analyzing the market structures that do exist. A purely competitive market has a large number of small businesses, identical or easily substituted products, freedom of entry into and exit out of the industry, perfect knowledge of prices and technology. Even though pure competition does not actually exist in the real world, there are places where it is close. The company eBay, an online retailer, created a marketplace on the internet that functions with a market structure that comes quite close to pure competition. Consumers can buy almost anything on eBay in a pure competition market structure. Pure competition exists when identical products are sold. The sellers or producers on eBay set a minimum price for their goods. The consumer can then bid for the goods of his or her choosing. In this case, we have pure competition because everyone has perfect knowledge of the prices set. Monopoly. Pure competition and monopoly are two extreme types of market structure. While pure competition allows for perfect competition among a large number of sellers, a monopoly creates a total lack of competition. The monopoly has complete control over its market. This gives the producer complete control over what products to provide and what prices to charge. The characteristics of a monopoly are: a single producer, a unique product with no close substitutes, a price controlled by the producer, entry is blocked to competitors. The near monopoly. A pure monopoly is nearly as rare as pure competition. Most actual monopolies, such as a city's utility provider, are heavily regulated by the government. But there are some companies that control a particular market so thoroughly that they come close to creating a monopoly. Microsoft is one of these near monopolies. While Microsoft is not a monopoly by definition, Apple also creates operating system software. Microsoft dominates the market so effectively that it has been accused of acting like a monopoly. The Microsoft monopoly. Bill Gates and his company Microsoft control the market when it comes to operating systems, such as Windows 95, Office 2003, and other software applications. Did you know that 90% of the world's personal computers run on Microsoft software from the minute they are turned on? Microsoft has managed to automatically set up its operating systems in most computers being sold in the world. It has a monopoly because its products are unique, and its rivals cannot compete against it. Microsoft is also able to control the price of its operating systems because there are no similar products on the market. In 1998, a court case was filed against Microsoft Corporation. Microsoft rivals accused Microsoft of abusing its monopoly in the way it sold its operating systems and web browsers. The main issue was whether Microsoft was allowed to sell its Internet Explorer web browser software with its Microsoft Windows operating system. Many technology companies have fought legally against Microsoft's monopoly, including Apple Computer, Netscape, and Sun Microsystems. However, Microsoft still holds the majority of the market of operating software. It has the monopoly because it has blocked the entry or has made it very difficult for competitors to enter the same market. Monopolistic competition. Monopolistic competition is a market structure that includes many producers providing products or services that are almost the same, but not quite identical. A market structure of this sort allows some price control, but businesses generally accept the prices charged by rivals, ignoring the impact of their own costs. Monopolistic competition resembles pure competition except that different producers are selling similar products. Oligopoly. In a system of monopolistic competition, there are a large number of small businesses. In an oligopoly, there are a small number of large businesses dominating a particular market. Businesses keep a close eye on the decisions made by the few other businesses in the industry. Because there is not much competition, businesses in this type of market do not change prices often. In order to attract customers away from the small number of competitors they face, businesses in an oligopoly offer incentives, including bonuses and rebates. The characteristics of an oligopoly are: an industry dominated by a small number of large businesses. Businesses sell either identical or slightly differentiated products. Businesses give incentives instead of changing prices. Significant barriers exist to enter industry. Oligopoly models. Oligopoly is a common market structure because many industries are difficult to break into. Anyone can open a lemonade stand with just a few dollars, but it takes millions and millions to build and operate a car factory. As a result, lemonade is a pretty competitive market, while the automobile industry is an oligopoly. The automobile industry is considered an oligopoly because it is dominated by a small number of large companies. These companies all sell similar cars, such as four-door sedans, minivans, and SUVs. Another good example of an oligopoly is the airline industry. This industry is dominated by a small number of large companies. These businesses offer their customers similar products. However, certain airlines go to certain cities, while others do not. Airline companies also have incentives to attract customers, such as ticket upgrades or free air miles. Considering competition. Businesses compete with each other as they pursue the profit motive, but they take into account the type of competition they face before they make decisions. The four different market structures you have examined show the differences between the competitive situations faced by producers operating in different markets. Remember that the level of competition varies depending on the number and size of competitors, the type and quality of their products and services, and their degree of market control over price. The continuum of market structures. Market structure review. From the largest corporation to the humblest small business, participating successfully in the free market system requires a good plan, lots of determination, and the willingness to take some risks. A person who starts a new business is a risk taker. We call these people entrepreneurs. An entrepreneur is an individual who begins, manages, and bears the risks of a business.